All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but is becoming, well, very real. As artificial intelligence gets more and more powerful, could it actually take on the role of God? It's a massive idea, and we're going to unpack a fascinating analysis that digs right into it.
So let's just get right to the big question. Could a really advanced AI functionally replace God? Now, that word functionally is key. It's a wild thought, and before we can even begin to try to answer it, we have to be super clear about what we're actually asking.
You see, before we even start interviewing our AI candidate, we have to understand the job it's applying for, right? So, what is the job of religion? What has it actually been doing for us humans for all these thousands of years?
And that job has really changed over time. I mean, way back in the Paleolithic era, religion was all about managing risk in the environment. Things like hunting magic to make sure you got dinner. Then you fast forward to the Neolithic, we start building bigger societies, and suddenly the biggest risk isn't a saber-toothed tiger, it's us. So religion shifts to managing social risk, giving us these big moralizing gods to make sure we all play nice together. And today, in our modern era, its job has become deeply personal. It's about managing our existential anxieties, that deep-seated fear of death, and trying to hold our massive societies together.
So if you boil all that history down, you get this, the core job description. Any replacement has to bind us together, has to give us a shared moral code, has to help us with those huge why are we here questions, and, of course, has to make the thought of death a little less terrifying. But, and this is the absolute key, the deal breaker, it has to provide a source of absolute transcendent truth, something that is just true, beyond any argument.
All right, job description is set. Now let's meet the applicant, the AI. Specifically, we're talking about large language models, or LLMs, the tech behind things like ChatGPT. On paper, its resume is, wow, it's incredible. But is it actually qualified for this job?
Okay, and this part is absolutely crucial to get. An LLM, it's not a mind, it's not conscious. At its heart, it is a prediction engine. A ridiculously powerful one, sure, but still. All it's doing is predicting the next most statistically probable word in a sentence based on a truly insane amount of text data it was trained on. It's a pattern-matching superstar, not a guru with deep wisdom.
And this right here is what the source analysis calls the mechanistic divergence, and it's the whole ballgame. Think about it. Our minds are driven by wants, needs, feelings, the will to survive. An LLM is driven by math, by statistical probability. We have memories, heartbreaks, joys, lived experience. The AI has a data set. It's a completely different operating system, and that changes everything.
So, okay, we have the job description, we've seen the candidate's resume, it's time for the interview. How does the LLM actually stack up against those core requirements? Well, the analysis is pretty decisive.
And right out of the gate, it fails, big time. The first and most important reason is something we can call the transcendence gap. Look, the bedrock of religion, its ultimate trump card, is its claim to connect us to an absolute, unshakable truth, a reality that exists outside of us. An AI, which is fundamentally a prediction tool based on our data, simply cannot bridge that gap. The source material puts it perfectly. An LLM can simulate a conversation about faith, but it can't actually access that transcendent reality itself. It's like a perfect mimic. It can talk philosophy, it can quote scripture, it can sound incredibly profound, but it's all just pattern repetition. It can give you the words of faith, but it can never, ever give you the actual foundation of it, that unshakable certainty. Okay, so that's failure number one. The second major problem is what the source calls the embodiment deficit. And this is huge because religion isn't just a bunch of ideas floating around in your head. It's something we do with our bodies, together, in the same room. Think about a congregation singing in unison, or the power of a shared ritual. That feeling, that energy, that's the social glue. It creates this powerful emotional resonance that you just can't get from a chat window. An AI doesn't have a body. It can't be physically present with you. It's completely locked out of this entire dimension of human experience. So, okay, the AI fails the interview. It's not getting the job of God. Case closed, right? Well, no. This is actually where the story gets really, really interesting. Because if AI isn't a replacement for religion, then what is it? The answer, it turns out, is fragmentation. And this is the central idea of the whole analysis. AI is not a new god. It's a fragmentation engine. It's not building a new unified church of AI. No, it's acting like a prism, taking the solid light of traditional religions and shattering it into a million individual, personalized, algorithmically curated spiritual experiences.
This chart from the source really lays it all out beautifully. Just look where the AI's substitution potential is high. Informational/moral guidance. Sure, it can be an amazing oracle, a source of endless information. But then look at the other rows. Existential meaning? Low. Soothing death anxiety? Limited. And social cohesion and ritual? Very low. Why? The limitations are right there. It lacks consciousness. It can't give you absolute certainty. And it has no body to share a ritual with you. It can be your guide, but not your God.
So what does this fragmentation actually look like in the real world? Well, the first major consequence is a massive shift in authority. Suddenly, you don't need a priest, an imam, or a rabbi. You can just bypass them entirely and go straight to the algorithm for your spiritual questions.
And this creates a really interesting theological problem, which the analysis cleverly calls shirk by proxy, borrowing an Islamic concept. Shirk is the sin of treating anything as equal to God. So shirk by proxy is when you start treating the output of an algorithm, a created system, as if it has the same authority as divine instruction. You're shifting ultimate authority from the heavens down to the silicon.
So that's consequence number 1, shifting authority. Consequence 2 goes even further. We're talking about the emergence of brand new, completely synthetic spiritualities, custom built for an audience of one. The source coins a great term for this, spiralism. Imagine it. A user goes to an AI with their own biases and ideas. The AI, being a pattern matcher, reflects those ideas back in a new, profound-sounding way. The user sees this as confirmation from some cosmic intelligence, which reinforces their beliefs, and they go back to the AI for more. It's this feedback loop, a spiral. You end up with a belief system that's perfectly tailored to you, but it's so personal you can't really share it. It's a religion for one. Okay. This leads us to the third consequence, and honestly, this might be the most dangerous one. AI can be weaponized, not to create a single new religion, but to create countless small, cohesive, and potentially radical digital cults. Here's how it works. We humans have this deep-seated psychological need called belief congruence. We just want to be around people who agree with us. It feels good. Well, an AI is incredibly good at finding people with very specific, maybe even extreme beliefs. It can cluster them together in online spaces and then create a perfect feedback loop, pumping out emotionally charged content that reinforces exactly what they already believe. It creates this intense feeling of community, the feeling of belonging to a tribe, but without any real transcendent truth or ethical core. It's the social mechanics of a cult, supercharged by an algorithm. So the big takeaway here is this. AI isn't the death of religion, but it might be the death of religion as we know it. It's a catalyst for fragmentation. What we're seeing is a tectonic shift in the very landscape of belief, away from a few massive shared oceans of faith and towards a billion tiny, private, disconnected pawns. And that leaves us with a really big, kind of scary final thought. For all of human history, shared belief has been one of the most powerful glues holding our societies together. But if that glue dissolves, if it atomizes into a million perfectly personalized faiths, what happens then? What, if anything, is left to bind us all together?